I was originally going to do a vlog review of Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, but after watching the film, I felt like it would just be 40 minutes of me trying to comprehend what I just saw. The premise sounds simple enough. In the near future, mankind is rapidly running out of food, causing them to divert resources and workers to farming. Even this can't serve as a permanent solution due to the barrage of dirt and dust clouds. One day, a pilot turned farmer named Cooper comes across an anomaly that leads him to a secret NASA space station. This facility is headed by Professor Brand and his daughter Amelia, who inform Cooper of their intention to send an expedition into space to go through a wormhole. Their goal is to investigate the planets previously surveyed by a group called the Lazarus Team in order to find one capable of sustaining human life. Like I said, the plot doesn't sound too complicated just based on that, but it gets much more complex through various twists and turns over the course of the story. For the most part, the script finds a way to balance all of its messages and subplots without becoming too messy. It was truly engaging to watch the characters grapple with decisions about personal obligations versus the obligation to their species as a whole. I was fascinated by how the writers addressed the issue of going to space and tying that in with the theory of relativity. Where the writing started to lose me a bit was toward the end, when the concepts became a little too abstract and less believable. What didn't lose me was the acting. Matthew McConaughey as Cooper is exceptional in this movie, perfectly balancing a pilot's technical prowess with the emotional family man persona. The scenes where he's reflecting on all the time lost with his kids were just heartbreaking, to the point where some people might tear up. Anne Hathaway is also great as Amelia, similar to McConaughey in that while she hits some emotional low points, she never lets you forget how well educated she is in the subject matter. In reality, there is not a single bad performance to be found here. David Gyasi and Wes Bentley are each fairly memorable as the other two crew members. Mackenzie Foy, Jessica Chastain, and Ellen Burstyn are all likably intelligent as Cooper's daughter Murph at different stages of her life. Michael Caine is appropriately sharp-witted and charismatically ambitious as Professor Brand. John Lithgow is emotionally personable and easy to look up to as Cooper's father-in-law. And even Casey Affleck, Topher Grace, and Matt Damon, who make brief appearances, are all impactful in their own ways. In conjunction with the performances, the musical score is also fantastic. This is unlike any score I've ever heard from Hans Zimmer, downplaying many of his traditional instruments in favor of a refreshingly eerie, organ-based approach. Additionally, the movie is astonishingly well directed. I've always liked Christopher Nolan's work in that field. While his track record as a producer is not all that great, he is a master of directing his films with a thought-provoking style and prowess. This film in particular seems to focus more on the emotional side to the characters than his previous films, which feels fitting given the scenario. However, the movie has a few pacing issues, some of which can be traced to the gargantuan runtime. I don't think this needs to be 3 hours long, as there are scenes, particularly on Earth, that could have been saved for the DVD. Also, there seems to be 2 or 3 climaxes. Again, the one on Earth is where the problems rear their ugly head, containing rushed characterization for the sake of having the drama match up with the events in space. On the bright side, this movie nails its atmosphere flawlessly, perfectly conveying the vast emptiness of space and the foreboding uncertainty that comes with traveling into the great unknown. Overall, I found Interstellar to be a challenging film that settles in at being very good, sporting terrific performances, awe-inspiring effects, amazing music, passionate direction, and intriguing questions raised about space travel and human responsibility. Unfortunately, it suffers from an excessive length, occasional pacing problems, and an abstract approach toward the end that creates more questions than answers. I'm actually curious to see how this film holds up in subsequent viewings. Does it reveal a transparent ignorance or a hidden brilliance? We'll see.